Hello students, today we are starting our sixth unit, that is staffing, and this unit relate with the appointment of staff. That's why it is known as staffing. Staffing is a process wherein we search for the best talent, or we can say suitable talent for the job vacancies in our organization, and it can be required for two different purposes or in two different ways. Once when the organization is new, and another one is when there is an existing organization. If the organization is new and first time all the employees are being hired, so it's a very long process, because for each job we have to prepare job descriptions in detail. Then we have to give the advertisement in newspaper and other medias. Then they will give us application. We will sort out the application which one suits us best. Then we will give them a written test and trade test and interview, followed by a medical, and then we can fulfill this process. If there is existing organization, then it is a short process, because one or two vacancies are there or limited vacancies are there, so other staff is also available for us for helping in that particular work. So here we are going to learn the staffing process and its importance. There is selection process also, and lots of interesting things are there. So let's start with the importance of staffing. So why we require staffing? First of all, filling roles by competent employees. We need competent employees or qualified employees for our organization, then only our organization will survive as well as grow. So it is important for us to appoint a competent staff. Next one is placing right person at the right job. You simply see these are circles, and you cannot put any square into this circle. So it is impossible. So putting square pegs into round holes is very difficult for us. So first of all, we must have a rigorous selection process. Means the persons must be enough qualified to perform their task. If they are untrained, unqualified, then there must be a provision of training, because we all know that a trained employee is single trained employee is better than multiple untrained employees. It also doesn't mean that we have to pay less or more. Payment is totally a different idea. Actually, what is the requirement of that particular job must be in the capacity of the performer, or we can say employee. So we place right person at the right job, not like this. Next point is growth of enterprise depends only on human resource. We have many type of resources, many physical resources like money, material, machine, but above all, the human resource is the one of the most important element. So if we select our human resource very carefully, then the growth of enterprise is sure. Next point is optimum utilization of resources. We all know that there is a lot of wastage while performing a work, but a trained worker does not make such wastages. That's why we need trained employees, or either we can give them training. This will optimize the resources. We need not require too much resources. Profit can be earned with limited resources also, but they must be used very carefully. Next point is helps in competing. Or if we have better employees than other organizations who are in our competition, then certainly we will win or we will be above them. That's why it helps in competing. So staffing is a process which is helping everywhere. There are lots of importance. And last point is improves job satisfaction and morale. If the employee is trained, there is always a job satisfaction that yes, I am capable of performing this particular task. If they are untrained, there will be a confusion, there will be wastage, there may be conflicts among the employee and employer, and there are lots of issues. So trained employee, if they are assigned task, they complete it, they will be praised by the management. That's why it improves the job satisfaction. And they may be promoted to higher post if they are eligible. It also increases their morale, means they will have a very high tempo or good feeling about the organization. They must feel some belongingness to the organization. If they are performing well, they will be appraised and they will be promoted. Now we have another aspect in this topic, staffing versus human resource management. Actually, these two terms, staffing and human resource management, are interrelated. And staffing is a part of human resource management. Means which one is big? Staffing is a small part and human resource is big. Staffing comes under the human resource management. It is only one element of human resource management. So we can see that there is a relation between staffing and human resource management. Staffing is just only one part of human resource management. So what are the functions we perform in the human resource management? Before going to this topic, I'll tell you a simple process that how gradually the human resource management is developed. First of all, after industrial revolution, the size of organization increased. Means if we have 2 or 3 employees, it increased to 30, 40. Now we have to take or keep record of each and every event of every individual. Their attendance, their performance, and that is at that time some clerks are appointed that you can perform the management of employees. But when the size of business grows manifold, means 200 to 300 employees, 500 employees, 1000 employees. Nowadays Indian Railways is catering to more than 5 lakh employees. So there is a number of employees in the organization and lots of departments also, and there are lots of issues also. So there is a requirement of a special department, and now it is known as human resource department. And what they will perform in the human resource department, they will manage the human resources. Means they will keep the records of their date of joining, date of retirement, date of promotion, their salary, their leaves, their bonus, their training, their performance, past records, everything they have to maintain as a record. Besides this, it is only a smallest part. There are many aspects like planning for the human resource. If we require some human resource, then we have to plan for it, that after hiring them, what we will require to perform. So whenever we hire employees, before that we need some planning that these are the vacant posts, and for these posts this type of person is required, and for that appointment there is a selection process, or we can say staffing process, and that process must be disclosed in that plan. So they continuously plan for employees, that if there is any accident or mishappening in the organization, then also they plan that we can take the group insurance policy or ESI scheme or provident fund, or many other aspects are there. We just need to simply understand that they continuously plan for human resource, that how their efficiencies can be increased, how absenteeism can be decreased, how their job satisfaction can be increased. Next is employing people. It is the basic function, that how to hire an employee. It is the function of human resource management. Next is career growth, that is related with the promotion of employee. Those who are performing well in their field, they can be assigned difficult task of higher level. If they perform it well again, then they can be promoted to higher post if they are eligible. Performance appraisal. Performance appraisal is related with the report card of employee, where all his assignments are written down and their notes are also there, that how they performed that time and what is the rate of success in their performance. And after evaluating the report card of employee with his or her past performance, then we can appraise them. Generally, in real world, appraisal means increase in salary, but nowadays people are understanding it that appraisal just is limited with the increase in salary. It is not only the increase in salary, but the overall performance of the employee is being checked here. After that, motivating employee is the function of human resource management. They continuously motivate employees financially or non-financially. There are two types of motivations. Either they can motivate them with finance, like any incentives, that if you do this we will give you money. It is simple. And non-financial is that, well done, you have performed best in the organization, so clap for everyone or clap for the best performer. So there are two types of motivations, either it may be financial or non-financial. So it is also the program of human resource management. Next is compensation. Compensation here means the total salary package of the employee, in which their basic salary, their DA means dearness allowance, and their medical allowance, house rent allowance, children education allowance. There are lots of things under this category. So they manage the salary of each and every employee, including the managers, including the top level also. Means the salaries of all the department are being handled by the human resource management. Next point is providing social security schemes. What are social security schemes? These are the schemes which will benefit the employee after retirement. If they retire at 60, nobody will take them to the new job. So what they will do, how they will survive? For this there is a provision of pension, provision of provident fund, PPF. It may be of 2-3 types. For government employees it is GPF, for private employees it is EPF, provident fund, and for general public it is PPF, public provident fund. So these are the schemes. Gratuity is also there, leave encashment is also there. So there are various social security schemes which are being planned by the human resource management, which they will avail only after the retirement. And at last, they have to review and audit the performance of each and every employee. So it's an introduction of staffing process or staffing function. If you have any queries, you can ask me. Thank you, students.